Most people don't have a money problem, they have a system problem. The moment your paycheck hits, it starts disappearing. Coffee, a new gadget, a night out, and by the end of the month, your account reads $30 with nothing left to save or invest. I, like many people, grew up never having enough money. When I finally grew up and earned a decent paycheck, I started building a system that would let me save and invest money reliably so that one day I could become financially free. Here's how I think about it. Your paycheck is like water running out of a faucet once or twice a month. Your financial priorities are like buckets. If you fill the wrong buckets first, the fun ones, the impulse ones, then the buckets that actually build your financial future never get filled. A paycheck routine fixes that. It tells every single dollar exactly where to go in the right order before you can spend it on the wrong things. So today, guys, I'm going to walk you through my exact paycheck routine, what I do every single payday, the order, the accounts, and the tools I use at each step. By the end of this video, I hope you'll have some inspiration for how to set up your own paycheck routine. Let's dive in. Now, to build a paycheck routine that actually grows my wealth, there are two things working together. The first is the paycheck system itself, a set order I follow every payday, so there's no guessing and no willpower required. The second is having the right financial tools at each step. In every step of my routine, I use a specific platform or service that helps me earn more interest, avoid fees, or earn cashback and rewards on the money I'd be spending anyways. Over the years, I've researched tools I find work the best for me here in Canada and improved my routine so I can earn more money and make my money work for me while I'm spending the money. Quick note before we start, guys, I will walk you through my personal paycheck routine, but you'll need to adjust this based on your personal financial situation and goals. I am not a financial advisor, guys. I'm just a fellow Canadian on the internet who's sharing what has worked for me. And also, guys, you can earn a cashback or bonus anywhere between $10 to $150 when signing up with some of the financial platforms or services I'll mention here, subject to certain TNCs. Check out the latest offers in the descriptions down below. And I'm proud to say that I actually curated all of these services and platforms and actually used them myself, some for over 5 years even. And I'm not sponsored by any of them, so they do not make me say anything. But these are affiliate links, which means that if you sign up, I may earn a small commission at no additional cost to you. Now, with that out of the way, let's start with step 0, before your paycheck even lands. Yes, there is a step 0, which is RSP matching. If you're an employee working for a company, this needs to be set up before your paycheck even hits your bank account. Here's how it works in case you don't know. Many employers let you contribute a percentage of your pre-tax salary into a group RSP, usually between 2 and 5%. Then they match some or all of it and place it into what's called a DPSP account. At 100% matching, that is an instant 100% return, basically free money. Quick example, on a $60,000 salary, contributing 3% is $1,800 from you. If your employer matches this to 100%, they will add another $1,800. That's $3,600 in total. Now, since I'm self-employed, I do not have access to this, but if I were employed, I'd go straight to my HR and ask them if they offer RSP matching benefits. If they have RSP matching and you're not taking advantage of it, it would be like leaving a big chunk of money on the table. Now, let's go on to step 1 of my paycheck routine, which is parking my paycheck in a high interest savings account. Since almost a year ago, I've been auto-depositing my paycheck straight into a HISA. At the moment, I earn about $7,700 from my company. Like most people, I don't spend that money all at once, but gradually throughout the month. Now, here's what most people do. They deposit their paycheck into a regular checking account with their traditional bank that earns them close to nothing. Well, 0.5% or so at the best. I believe this is a mistake. What I do instead is park that paycheck in a HISA, high interest savings account that earns high interest while I decide where that money will go next. And there are a lot of HISA options in Canada. Neo, RBC, Koho, and many others. What I don't like about many is that most of them either have a minimum deposit amount in order to get that high interest, a monthly fee, limits, or charge you for e-transfers. No, I was looking for an account with no monthly fees, no minimum balance, and a consistently high interest rate. So I decided to go with a Canadian digital bank called EQ Bank. I direct deposit my paycheck here at EQ Bank, and for that they pay me an interest rate of 2.75% starting from the first dollar. Note, guys, that interest rates can change from time to time, so always check before you sign up. Unlike most other banks, there is no minimum account, there are no monthly fees. What I also love is that it's super convenient to move money around and pay bills, as Interact transfers are free and the limit is quite high at $20,000 per week. If you want to find out more, I left my link down below. Now, after I make sure that my paycheck earns me high interest, I go on to step 2, which is getting rid of high interest debt first And for most people, that's credit card debt. I haven't carried a cent of credit card debt in years, so nowadays in my step 2, my money goes towards paying off all my credit card statement balances. But there was a time back then where I did carry a bit of balance over, and that is bad. If you've read your credit card's TNCs, you'll know that you'll be paying anywhere from 20 to 30% in interest on your credit card balance that is not paid by the due date. Paying off your high interest debt is a non-negotiable, and here's why. Paying off a credit card charging 25% interest, for example, is like earning a guaranteed 25% return. The stock market's long-term average return is somewhere around 8 to 10%. So if you're carrying credit card debt and putting money into investments at the same time, the math is working against you. Credit card interest compounds so fast, so if you only make minimum payments, you'll end up paying interest on interest month after month. There are several approaches to paying off credit card debt. One common method is the snowball method, where you pay off the smallest balance first to build momentum. Choose whichever method is right for you. Personally, I prefer another method, which is called the avalanche method, which means that you pay off the highest interest rate first, because that's where you're losing most money. And I get it, there are situations where you just can't pay off your entire balance all at once. For example, if you barely have any money to cover your basic needs, like rent. If I were in that situation, I'd pay off my high interest debts in installments over a few months as fast as possible. In any case, clearing high interest debt is where the highest return lies, and I tackle that first even before investing. Now, if that's done and I have no high interest debt anymore, I'd go on to step number 3, which is covering my basic needs and earning some money while I do that. Earn while you spend money? I'll explain in a moment how I earn money while spending it. Now, before I even start investing my money, I want to make sure that I can cover my basic needs. And those are food, housing, and transportation. I spend about $28,000 on basic needs only. Note basic. This does not include shopping, clothing, traveling, and new AirPods. So that's about $2,300 per month. I want to make sure I leave approximately $2,000 in my account. Remember, since I'm leaving it in a HISA, I'm earning 2.75% at the moment while the money is sitting there. But I can access it anytime whenever my bills are due. I know exactly how much money I need every month because I've set up a budget for my basic needs, something I think everyone needs to have. And now here's where it gets interesting, guys. Some bills I pay directly from my EQ bank account via Interact as a bill payment. But for many other expenses, I use a high cashback or high reward credit card for every expense I can to make sure that I earn money, cashback rewards while I spend. And important, I also make sure that I pay off the full balance each month. There are so many options in Canada, including cards from Tangerine, Neo, Simply, and so on. So make sure you get the best card that works for you and optimizes your earnings based on your personal spending profile. Personally, I'm routinely using a 4% cashback card for groceries, which is the Scotiabank Momentum Visa Infinite Plus card. I put my groceries and recurring expenses on it. My husband and I spend almost $1,000 a month per groceries, so that is $40 in cashback each month or $480 per year. So even after taking into account the credit card's annual fee, I'm still earning about $300 net in cashback. If you think this is suitable for you, you can apply for it using my link down below and get a $100 cashback sent to you via Interact if approved. Remember that this and other links are affiliate links, so I may earn a small commission when you sign up at no additional cost to you. So yes, I'm all for using credit cards, but I use them in a way that actually benefits me and makes me more money. Now, I am paying off a mortgage, so unfortunately, I cannot get cash back on paying my rent. But in case you are renting, you can actually use your credit card to pay rent. I know most landlords don't accept credit cards, but there's this platform called Checksy that lets you pay your rent with your credit card. Ideally, one that pays 3 to 4% cash back because they charge a 1.75% processing fee. So net, you can still earn cash back or rewards on what's typically your single biggest monthly expense. Since I don't pay rent, I use Checksy for other expenses like some utilities, including condo fees and property insurance. So each year, from all of my credit cards combined, I earn around $1,000 in cashback rewards on expenses that I have anyways. Now, as I just said, I also auto pay my property insurance each month. Whether you're renting or you own your own place, this is not optional. One fire, one flood, one break-in, and without insurance, years of built-up savings can disappear overnight. Remember that if you've just purchased a new home or moved to a new place, you need some kind of property insurance to cover you. So I've also left a link to Square One, that's the insurance that I currently use, down below. I chose it mainly because it is budget friendly because I didn't want to spend a fortune on property insurance. Now on to step number 4 of my paycheck routine, something many people forget to do, and that is to Build an emergency fund. Life happens. Something breaks, someone gets sick, or you get laid off. An emergency fund is there to cover your expenses when that happens, preventing the dreaded scenario where you have to sell your investments when they're down. I personally targeted 3 to 6 months of essential expenses, kept liquid and easy to access, not invested tucked away in stocks, not locked in anything. If my income and job situation were less stable, I'd lean towards 6 months or even 12 perhaps. I like to keep my emergency fund either in a money market fund or simply in cash. Since I'm self-employed and have a business account, I put a large part of my emergency fund in my corporate account. If I didn't have this though, I'd save my emergency fund in an investment account. I think GICs can be a good choice as they can pay up to 4% in interest per month at the moment, but for many there are penalty fees if you withdraw the money before maturity. You can easily buy GICs. For example, they're available on EQ Bank as well. They sell their in-house EQ Bank GIC, currently paying up to 4%. Also on Questrade, one of the investment platforms that I use, they offer a full range of different GICs. So that is one of the features that, for example, Questrade has that Wealthsimple doesn't. And that is why I like to have investment accounts on different platforms, because they serve different purposes. Now we get to the exciting part, which is 5A, which is investing inside registered accounts. Once my essentials are covered and the safety net is in place, I transfer money into registered accounts like the TFSA or RSP. These accounts are powerful because they're either tax-free or tax-deferred, meaning more of your money stays invested and can compound over time. A quick recap in case you're new to this: in the TFSA, the tax-free savings account, your money grows completely tax-free and you can withdraw it tax-free at any time. I make sure I max out my TFSA limit each year. In the RSP, the Registered Retirement Savings Plan, contributions reduce your taxable income today, but you pay taxes on withdrawals in retirement or when you withdraw the money. This is very powerful if you're currently in a higher tax bracket than you expect to be later when you retire or withdraw the money. And since I'm personally in a quite high tax bracket, I max out my RSP as well. Then there is the FHSA, the First Home Savings Account, relevant if you're saving for a first home. You basically get a tax deduction going in, and the withdrawal of the money is tax-free when you use it for a home purchase up to $40,000 in a lifetime. If you need a full breakdown of which account makes sense for your situation, you can join me in this video later. Now the question, where can you open these accounts? Nowadays, you can open registered accounts with almost all financial institutions in Canada. There are a lot of digital platforms, online platforms that make it really easy, including Wealthsimple, Questrade, IBKR, Qtrade, Moomoo, Webull, and the list goes on. Personally, I prefer the ones that are based in Canada, easy to use, have no monthly fee, no trading fees for buying and selling stocks and ETFs. So I have my investments on Wealthsimple and Questrade right now. For my corporate investments, I use IBKR. So in this step, I either transfer money via Interact to the investment platforms into my TFSA or RSP accounts, or in the case of Wealthsimple, I've connected my bank accounts directly to it, my EQ Bank account. Both Wealthsimple and Questrade are great in my opinion. The main difference, I think, is that Wealthsimple may be easier to use for beginners slightly and has features like crypto trading and products like physically backed gold. Questrade, on the other hand, has more advanced products that could be more suitable for slightly more experienced investors. I left my links to both of them below. At the moment, you can get bonuses when you open accounts with either $25 for opening a Wealthsimple account and $50 for a Questrade account at the moment, each with their respective minimum fundings. Remember though, the work is not done yet. As I want my money to earn interest, dividends for me, and grow, I need to actually invest my money within the registered accounts. So I invest in ETFs, stocks, or other eligible assets so that my money can grow. And you can automate your contributions. You can set it up in a way so that a fixed amount of money leaves your account on payday without you having to make a decision each month. My personal goal is to fully exhaust my TFSA and RSP contribution room every year. As my income has grown, I've been pushing towards that. And once my registered room is maxed out, I invest outside of these accounts too. Now on to step 5B of my paycheck routine, which is investing in Bitcoin. And hey, I completely understand this is not for everyone, but since I want to be fully transparent with you and more of my money is actually going into Bitcoin, I need to mention this. So each month I work towards maxing out my registered accounts, but if I have money beyond that, I also invest directly into Bitcoin outside of my registered accounts. Bitcoin is not a scam or fad like many people believe. Here's what I've learned. Bitcoin is a genuinely valuable asset. It is called digital gold for a reason. It is scarce, it has a fixed supply of only 21 million coins, unlike many other cryptocurrencies, and unlike fiat money for sure, that's your Canadian dollars, US dollars, and other currencies. Bitcoin cannot be inflated. Global adoption has been growing by individuals, but also institutions, and even governments are buying it. So everything points to it continuously growing. That's my personal opinion at least, not a prediction, guarantee, or advice. Now that being said, it is highly volatile and it is high risk if you do not understand it well. I hold Bitcoin for the long term and don't need to access it for my basic needs. Also, I personally only hold an amount I'm fully prepared to see drop significantly. Yes, by 70% even. At the moment, I buy my Bitcoin on regulated exchanges, including MDAX, a Canadian company, which I love for its transparent and low fees, but also because it's so easy to withdraw from it. So this is not financial advice, guys. Make sure to do your own research, as I'm just a YouTuber and not an expert. Now, after channeling my money into all these places that will earn me money and grow my wealth, I can finally get to step 6, which is wants. Whatever is left after all of this, that is my guilt-free spending. That's the money I spend on a nice new sweater, on traveling overseas, on those AirPods or Tory Burch wallet I've always wanted to splurge on. Growing wealth doesn't mean just being frugal and denying yourself fun dinners, traveling, and shopping. It just means that you need to treat it as the reward after making all the right financial choices. I know it's not always easy to put wants last, delaying gratification, but there's a genuinely great feeling that comes with knowing that your finances are in order. Every dollar has a job and your money is working for you even when you're sleeping. Now that we've gone through the 6 steps, how do you actually know what to spend in each step? For that, you will need a budget. Without one, it's a guessing game, which leads to overspending. If you need help setting up a budget, join me in this video next, where I'll walk you through how to set up your budget in detail.